Many cities and towns in South Carolina are doing everything it can to protect its citizens from coronavirus. I sit down one-on-one with Goose Creek Mayor Greg Habib for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and also listen to my free Quintin's Close-Ups iHeartRadio podcast. Mayor Greg Habib, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me, Quintin. I'm always happy to come and speak with you.
I appreciate it greatly.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you're a husband, a father, a Gamecock guy. You're an innovator, educator, communicator, industrialist, proud mayor of Goose Creek. Who else is Mayor Greg Habib these days?
Firefighter, counselor, and when I say firefighter, I don't mean actual fires. I mean putting them out everywhere.
Yeah.
Problem solver, like I said, counselor, becoming a little bit more of a health expert, becoming a little bit more of an electricity expert.
Wow.
Probably not enough to really make a huge impact without the input of the people around me, but certainly learning more and more about everything, things I maybe never thought I'd have to learn about.
Wow. You talk about being a problem solver. I got to talk to you about the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a tough problem to solve right now. How do you solve it as a communicator, innovator, and a mayor of Goose Creek?
Well, number one is the health and well-being of the citizens of our city and our state. This has been a pretty significant topic of conversation because Mayor Tecklenburg and Mayor Haney and Mayor Benjamin up in Columbia all implemented stay-home orders for their city.
Sure.
It's certainly something that we considered in Goose Creek, and obviously there's been a lot of pressure in and around to do those types of things. But the difference is that would not have been as effective for the city of Goose Creek as it would have been as it was for Charleston or Mount Pleasant. Not every situation or every city has the same conditions that we work under, so every decision can't be the same and think you're going to get the same outcome. So in our case, we did some things early on. We closed our parks, we closed our basketball courts, we communicated as effectively as we could with our big box stores and try to get those guys to really start implementing some social distancing procedures and the like. But we needed, as far as Goose Creek is concerned, the governor's order was much more significant than anything we could have done locally. We're not a walking city like Charleston. We don't have that many private congregation sites like Mount Pleasant might. Whereas in the city of Goose Creek, people come through, they come in and stop, and they do those types of things. So the governor's order actually will reduce the amount of discretionary travel. And so what that means is people in the city of Goose Creek won't be leaving so much to come back, and folks won't be driving through.
Yeah.
And so that, in turn, is what we really needed, and so the governor's order did that. We're working from home as much as we can in our city. We are making sure our first responders and anybody that just deals with the public. We're open at the city of Goose Creek, but everything's through a window, right? So anybody dealing with the public, we ensure that they have the proper PPE to carry out their duties. It's a lot of things that folks have had to think about, and I can't thank or commend our staff, our city administrator, our assistant city administrator, all of our department heads, police chief, fire chief, for really taking this thing by the horns and getting hold of it as fast as we could and protect the people that work for us and live in the city.
And you talk obviously about the PPEs, and I know that the city of Charleston says it will pick up national stockpile allotment of masks tomorrow in Columbia, meaning today, and at 22,000 will be delivered by Friday. How many do you want for the city of Goose Creek?
Well, again, most of that information is handled, or not information, most of that work is handled by our police chief and our fire chief.
Right.
So we are certainly working with our county more so than anything else to disseminate that stockpile, and our county got a shipment of PPE Friday, I think.
Okay.
So I think the days are starting to run together a little bit, and so we're getting most of that through our county. A number, I don't know. We have 335 employees. We have 70 sworn officers. We have 55 firemen. So, several thousand would certainly be a good start so that they can continue to use and reuse or use and not have to reuse is what I should say. But again, we've had a really good relationship with our county during this process and our county's emergency preparedness department.
Yeah.
So we feel good about where we're going, and the equipment that's going to be available to us and is available to us.
Exactly right. And I know that obviously Governor Master ordered to stay at home, order for people, they don't have to go to work or whatnot. And I know that Mayor Haney of Mount Pleasant also issued a new proclamation to adopt the same provisions as the governor's order. These orders mandated that the residents are to stay at home unless for necessary and essential services. Additionally, an emergency maximum occupancy rate has been enacted that limits the number of customers that may be within an essential business, that is, at one time. Mm-hmm. Would you enact something like that as far as a proclamation for the city of Goose Creek?
I don't think it's necessary in the city of Goose Creek because of the types of retail establishments that are there, and they are covered under the governor's order. So I spoke with the manager of our Publix. I spoke with the manager of our Lowe's. I spoke with the manager of our Walmart, who have instituted those steps to maintain 5 per 1,000 square feet, or 50% of the maximum occupancy. I can't remember how it was worded. Sure. But I spoke with those folks, and they're implementing those, and to ensure that they are implementing those steps by the governor. So again, other cities, Columbia, Charleston, Mount Pleasant, may have other venues or other establishments where it may be may fall outside of the governor's purview. Okay. That's really not the case in Goose Creek. So his order essentially covered what we needed in our city.
What does the city need right now in your mind?
There's nothing really external that I'm going to sit here and say that we need.
Okay.
Do we need more of this or more of that? That's a tangible physical asset. I don't know that we need more of that. We need more leadership amongst those of us in those positions to encourage our citizens to follow the guidelines. We need more cooperation amongst our citizens to follow the guidelines. We need more communication with those folks in and around the state so that we are employing whatever best practices may have come out. We're a great community and a thriving community, and just like every other, folks have different ideas and opinions and those kind of things. We really need folks to just take a step back, prioritize, allow our police officers and firefighters to do their jobs as best they can without creating more problems.
No problems. And I know obviously on April 2nd, you said this on your Twitter page, you said this quote, "After a day of no new cases, COVID-19 cases nearly double in Berkeley County. We knew testing was behind. It is still behind. Please stay home if you can. Social distancing if you have to go out. #flatten the curve." How much behind are you guys with testing right now as we sit here?
Well, we don't do testing at the city of Goose Creek, okay? So again, there is a new testing site in Berkeley County. It opened up in Monk's Corner on Monday. Okay. So again, those things are coming out. We are again coordinating, communicating with those folks. We've worked very well with the county. Interestingly, anecdotally, I know someone who met the criteria to get a test. Sure. Had some sickness, had some illness, had some respiratory, some history of respiratory. So they took this person through the questionnaire, to get, and said, okay, you need a test. And then as they scheduled the test, there was another questionnaire of what is that person's job, because they have to prioritize. So obviously they're prioritizing law enforcement, they're prioritizing folks in the healthcare system, first responders, right. Those kind of things, and other duties, other types of jobs as well. And what I found out was this person was a priority test. So they got their results back in 24 hours. Wow. A lot of people are still not getting their results back in 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So again, that tells you there is a shortage of the agent to conduct the test. And again, we've read all that too. So my concern is that yes, we may see a slower new case rate, but Is that because there are less new cases, or is it because there are less new cases we know about? So until I'm comfortable, and I know the other leaders that I've spoken with are comfortable that testing is keeping up with what's necessary, I'm going to again encourage everybody to maintain social distancing and only participate in those things that are essential.
And obviously, I talked to you about obviously me being laid off from my second job at Palmetto Carriage, and my other job is temporary closed. What about the small businesses? Because I know the governor was obviously approved of his request for assistance for some of those small businesses. How many small businesses right now need help in Goose Creek?
Well, we're working on that. I can't give you a number, but a lot. Okay, we know that there are a lot of folks that are really struggling, and mostly in our hospitality industry, just like everybody else. Restaurants are going to have a very difficult time recovering from this. So what have we done? We've tried to become and work to become a little bit of an expert on what's happening with the SBA loans. I've charged our folks to try to really understand it and be able to provide information as much as possible. We are looking at a small loan program ourselves to find out if we can partner with a bank and see who we can help on a smaller local level. And we hope that we'll be able to come up with something like that. There are some other municipalities doing it, and we're trying to, listen, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, we're going to copy other smart ideas. So we're looking into a way that we may be able to help our own locally owned folks in the city of Goose Creek. But there are quite a few that are going to need some help, and they're going to need our support, and they need our support now as best we can give it. We did a little thing on Facebook the other day, asking folks to identify their favorite restaurant just for takeout. What's your go-to?
Right.
And we bought a gift certificate for somebody, just took a random from their favorite takeout. We really just want to encourage people to do what they can, obviously within some safe guidelines, but do what they can to help support our local businesses. It's going to be a struggle, but our community is strong, just like Charleston and Mount Pleasant and Somerville and Hanahan are great communities, and we have a strong bond between our region, within our region, and we all have an impact on one another. And so we get that, and we work together very well, and I expect us all to recover as quickly as anybody can.
As quickly as anybody, exactly right.
Yeah.
And how are you, personally?
I'm tired.
Oh, God.
But I'm okay. I slept in a little bit late Sunday. My wife said, "When are you going to get up?" And finally I did. But I'm good. I don't stress a lot. At least I don't think I do. Maybe I internalize that some, I don't know. But, in everything, obviously, being the mayor obviously can be stressful during times like this, but I also run a business that is an essential business in our economy. So I'm doing that every day. So we have to deal with, I'm dealing with not only our city, the things that affect our citizens, but I have 50 employees that I'm concerned about. That we're trying to make sure that they're safe and that they're employed and that we can keep our business going, at least to serve our community in the way that we do. But we're busy, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to provide leadership during this time. I'm grateful for the opportunity to make some decisions that help rather than hinder. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with other leaders throughout our state to try to determine a best path forward for us. But it has certainly been interesting. It has certainly been stressful. We haven't made every right decision probably, but it has been rewarding in the end to see the work of our folks really carry through to our community and see our community react in such a positive way.
That's amazing. Well, Mayor Greg Habib, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. It's always good.
Likewise.